So once we close the file, we locate its position here and its extension. You see the extension is .csv. If you find, for example, this one as a folder, it is maybe in WinRAR, you need to extract it from WinRAR, or if it is in Excel, you need to, let's say, convert it to CSV in case you intend to use JASP or JAMOVI, because JASP accepts CSV extension. So make sure of this extension. So I will just open the software. Here is the software. I have two windows there, so I will open just one, and I go to new data, and here I go to this hamburger menu and then open, and then I will choose computer, desktop, and then I will navigate the desktop. You see here, so this is the desktop, this is the directory, this PC desktop, and this is where the data is located. So coded data EI TAM CSV. So I will open it, and then it will be displayed like what you are going to see in. So here it is, you see it. So the data here is exported like this. You could see even the open-ended questions are there. So what we can do simply is we need to run some statistics. We need to run the demographic statistics. So what we can do is go to descriptive stats. Let me just open this, and then I need to, like here, so this is another thing I need to explain, like Stata, or rather JASP, that determines the levels of measurements of each variables. You see them here. So this one, for example, gender is a categorical variable. This is a scale, ratio, interval variable, like how old are you, and age in terms of the age or years. This is the laptop ownership, no, yes. Smartphone ownership, no, yes. Education, ordinal. So here we need to understand the levels of measurement. So I have a table that I need to share with you, this one, that specifies the levels of measurements. Like we have nominal or categorical variables. These are categories with no inherent order, and they are used for labeling or naming, like gender, male, female, non-binary, ethnicity, etc., etc. So common question types like binary choice, multiple choice, etc. Then we have ordinal, categories with a meaningful order, but intervals between them are not equal, like education level, high school, bachelor's, master's, PhD, etc. And this is Likert scale ranking question as well. It's considered ordinal. Then we have interval. These are numerical scales with equal intervals, but no true zero, like temperature in Celsius, IQ scores. These are like usually rating scales, semantic differential scales, etc. Then we have ratio variables. These are like numerical scales with equal intervals and a true 0 point, like weight, height, age, income, and numeric open-ended. So these are the four levels of measurements that you need to understand before running any analysis. And these are like for the questionnaire items, or what we call variables. And according to the study, the variables can be classified into these types. We have independent variables or X variables, dependent variables, Y variables. They are also called outcome variables. We have mediator variables, M, moderator variables, W, control variables, C, etc. So the independent variables, this is like a variable that is manipulated or categorized to observe its effect on the dependent variable, like how many hours do you study per week. So this is like the number of hours predict the school achievement, for example. So predictor or cause of changes in the dependent variable, like achievement, scores, etc. The dependent variable is the outcome variable that is measured and affected by the independent variable, like what is your GPA, like the score that you get at the university or high school or college. So the variables researchers are trying to explain or predict. Then we have the mediator. In the title, usually you have the effects of X on Y, like the effect of motivation on study achievement, the effect of or the drivers of ChatGPT use, or the factors or the risk factors of Alzheimer's. So you see, these are like usually in the title of the study. Mediator. So this explains the mechanism or process through which the independent variable affects the dependent variable, like motivation affects study achievements with the mediation, let's say, of the hours spent studying. So the hours spent studying explain how this process is done. Then we have moderator variable, and this is affecting the strength and the direction of the relationship between the independent and dependent variables, like what is your level of interest in the subject, low, high, etc. So this alters the effect of the independent variable on the dependent variable, showing varying outcomes. Control variables, variables kept constant to ensure the relationship between independent and dependent variables is not confounded, like age, so used to isolate the effects of the independent variable by controlling other influences. Like if you are comparing, for example, first year college students, you can control for age because there are some experienced ones who came back to the university to promote their skills or to further their studies, for instance. So age can be kept as a control variable. So these are like the types of variables that are in the study design, and you need to understand them so that you can understand which statistical tests to run to analyze Likert scale data, questionnaire data, or any type of data, because these types of variables and measurement levels will determine the types of tests that will be run to test the variables according to the research questions, research hypotheses, and research objectives. Like if we go back to our research model here, so we have the X variable, which is the performance expectancy. There's this arrow affecting AI literacy, which is a Y variable, and Y variable, this is the dependent variable, in turn can become a predictor variable with regard to intention. You see how this relationship can be dual relationship or dual role played by one variable, can be independent and dependent at the same time. The same here for performance expectancy, can affect AI accessibility, which in turn can affect intention. So this is a mediator variable here, because performance expectancy directly affects intention to use AI. But what explains this is the AI accessibility, like the ability to access to the AI. So then we have AI literacy. So like the ability to like your literacy, meaning what you know about AI and how to use AI. So these are like the two variables that predict this relationship, performance expectancy and intention to use AI. So this is a research model that we want to test and prove whether these effects are statistically significant or not, if the p-value is below 0.05 or any other thresholds, or if the effect is positive, negative, or zero effect, or to what extent is that effect like strong, is it 70%, 80%, 20%. So these H1, H2, H3, H4, these are the research hypotheses, mostly the alternative research hypotheses and not the null hypothesis. And these variables are operationalized in terms of Likert scale items, which are in this data set, you see, and these are adapted from these studies to ensure validity and reliability. And the data is collected to empirically test this. So that's what we're trying to do. So first I put the demographic variables, and then we can just devote another video to this.